Hello, 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 everybody. It is Matt and it is Wild Wednesday, and I am back at you with yet another review. Before I roll on to any of that, I want to wish each and every one of you a great morning, evening, dawn, day, or dusk, all that lovely stuff, because life really is too short as is. Do me a really huge favor and like, share, and subscribe. I love seeing your beautiful faces when you are here. I know I'm here an awful lot, but I have an awful lot on my plate to review. And one last little tidbit of information. Check out the description box. I give you a bigger bite of every single movie of every single day. Such as today, I gave you a brief synopsis, starring cast, director, runtime of the cut I am watching, along with a link for a trailer, a link for where you can watch this bad boy for free, or not for free, excuse me. I think it was $4.99 to rent it for the 24-hour deal on Amazon Prime. So I give you a link for that. And then if you decide you can help support Matt's Movie Mania and toss me a couple of bucks. Now that I got all that said, mind all that out of the way, let's roll on to the film of the day. And today's is a very interesting one. It's a nice little post-apocalyptic, end-of-the-world type movie. Very reminiscent of a mixture between The Road and I would say bits of Doomsday. Mostly the people that have resorted to cannibalism, the different factions that exist in this outside or this afterworld that they are stuck in at that moment. And let's see, what do we got going on? This came out in 2023, runs at about an hour and 45 minutes, and that's with credits. And this is directed by Rickards. That's all I can remember is his last name right now. But anyways, he did a fantastic job at the helm of the director's chair here. What exactly is Mercyland about? Well, it's about this mother and daughter who are basically stuck alone, and they're trying to survive in this new world that they are stuck in. It's very reminiscent of The Road. They're going out on little trips to find food or anything else that can help them along their way. They just really have a dynamic duo going on with the mother and the daughter here. I'm gonna punch this down just a pinch. There we go. But anyways, I think they do a great job of building their relationship. And then eventually this other man comes in who was not the paternal father of the child, but a father-like figure that was there with them during a huge portion of her life. And eventually a raid happens on their camp, and he goes running off and leaves them to fend for themselves, and they basically had to fight their way out of such a scenario. I think it's an interesting ordeal because you got this love-hate relationship going on with the both the mother and daughter towards this other man. Like he is what you would call a coward. His character reminds me of oh shoot, what's his name? In 28 Weeks Later, the opening sequence. My memory is drawing a blank on his name. Is it Guy Ritchie or something? Not Guy Ritchie. That's a director. But anyways, it's got him running from everything that's possibly dangerous. So it makes me think of that character how he would ditch them in a very important time of need. So you can really sense that tension between the two the mother and the daughter towards this man. So, and by the way, he has gotten his digits cut off. He only has a hand left on one hand, or one hand. He doesn't have any fingers. So it's just basically a nothing. It's just a big old. It's just a hunk of meat left there. And that's because he was dealing with the Mercy Land tribe. When you live with them, there's always a something that you have to sacrifice to basically get the right of way to come into their land. And his sacrifice had to be his hand. Now he is definitely a guy that is up to no good. He goes. There's a whole thing where he takes the daughter out to a trip, a day trip to go see the ruins, as they called it, the ruins. And then eventually they end up coming across some bad guys that they shoot the father figure, and he is believed to be dead. Then they capture the daughter, and they find out there's something very special about the daughter. She has kind of a superhuman, not strength, but powers, to where she can talk to the animals. She can see things that aren't quite there. She just really has a lot going on in her poor little brain, because she is also super fast. I don't remember if they ever touch on her strength or anything of that nature. But they basically describe how she is different than the others, because she is a child of the thunder, I think is what they called it. Very interesting thing. Something extra to add to the story. Now, my only problem with this movie is it's very, very, very slow. So you gotta put on your patience cap and just kind of go along with the ride and not worry about the run time. I mean, granted, yeah, an hour and 45 minutes doesn't seem long, but watching this movie, it felt like 2 hours. I am not going to lie, it moves along very slow. Not that there's anything wrong with the slow burn. I just wasn't expecting that for a post-apocalyptic movie. I was expecting a little more action, especially since there is a tribe of cannibals. I was hoping to get some cannibalism stuff going on in here, but they just kind of like, I think they were the cannibals. They had spears and face masks on, and they were going after one of the bad guys and the girl. So it gets quite interesting on that aspect. But now on to the three things that I love my movies to meet. First is audio. The audio is very fine. I didn't notice any places where I couldn't understand what a character was saying, or had to rewind it to play it back. It was really smooth on that aspect. It felt like a really good professional job that was done on this one. So I'm going to give it an A+ on the audio. Dialogue is a little cheesy in places, I'm not going to lie, but it works for what it is. You don't need a Shakespearean type of dialogue to make a post-apocalyptic film work. I think that once the end of the world happens, a lot of people are going to go completely berserk, and it's the ones that live. And the cannibalism thing is a strong possibility. lack of dialogue, at least the brainchild of it, it just will not exist. I feel like we'll revert back to caveman days in within a few generations of that, if nothing has changed, if it continues to get worse. So I'm on the dialogue. I'm gonna give it a B. It works, but it just wasn't quite exactly what I wanted it to be. But it works very, very well. Granted, this film is a UK film. They're gonna sound different than you and I here in the States. It just it works very well. I'm glad they didn't fill it with a bunch of jargon I didn't understand. That was really nice, and so it works for what it is on the audio or the dialogue end. And now the third and final thing that I am very picky about is editing. I feel like the editing's done good enough in this. It runs at the right amount of time, I think. I think if it were any longer, I think it would hinder it just a little bit. Otherwise, I think it runs smooth for what time we have. And it has good pacing. Even though it's slow, its pacing works very well on that. It builds upon each layer in a very good, proper fashion. So I'm going to give it an A on editing. And my final score of 1 through 5, I'm going to give this thing a 4 out of 5. It could have been better. I just feel like I wanted more of the girl, the daughter with her powers. I wanted more about that. And then they came across a thing where there was this little medallion they would put on these chests, and they would open up if you had the right name or the right code or whatever it was. I would have liked a little more with that. They just kind of like show it and then they forget about it. It's one of those things I feel like, why show it if you're not going to bring it back and do something else with it? I don't know. That's just my only real like critique that I have to say about this movie. Otherwise, I think it's a good movie. I hope you guys check it out. Alright guys, love your faces. I'll see you on Friday with yet another review. And then, as always, love your faces. Peace.